Okay, so as far as going in and applying for a job, right? Usually it depends on the place, right? If it's a bigger institution, right? Usually they'll have like a form that you have to fill out when you're applying for a job. But in my personal case, right, I worked for two local restaurants, and so if you're going into a local restaurant, I'll just explain us like one of my experiences. So I've been going to a sushi restaurant for about like 8 years when I was like 14. And so I just and one time I was looking for a job, so I just went in and I went and asked for a job. Right, I talked to the manager. I said, hey, I'm looking for a job. I was wondering if you guys would hire me over the summer, right? She says, sure, just come in this day, right? It happened to be like a Thursday next week. Just come in like Thursday next week, right? And we could do some training, and it was easy as that. But sometimes in a different case, right? I worked for like a big supermarket. I worked for ShopRite. Um, and in that case, right, it was a more long process where I had to go in multiple times, do multiple like in sheets regarding like insurance, taxes, etc. Right, and I had to fill out multiple forms. Um, and I also had to go in and like speak with multiple people, not just a singular manager. I also had to talk to like other people that worked there. I had to get recommendations, etc. So as far as like going in and talking to a manager about a job, filling out a form, right? It basically depends on what's the size of the company or the business that you're looking to work for. The work I enjoy doing, right, usually involves, right, like as boring as it seems, or as contradictory as it seems, the two things I enjoy doing most is like bookkeeping, right, like keeping records, right. At a restaurant, I have to work at. I keep like the number of each order. I put those in order, so I file the papers, right? I file them together like multiple different papers, and that's required for tax purposes and for the business to report it, right? And the other thing I also enjoying is interacting with people, right? So I work as like a takeout manager, so I pick up the phone and I take orders over the phone, as well as a cashier. So I have to deal with people coming in, paying for their orders, interacting with them, right? And like those interactions I have with people, right? Like oftentimes, like that's the most interesting part of my day, is interacting with like different people who like I would have seen if I didn't work at this job. Right now, before, actually, like a few months ago, I was looking to be an accountant, right? So that falls along the lines of bookkeeping. But I decided to study like international affairs. So as far as like a career in the future, right? I'm looking into working for the government, right? Like working for the State Department, right? Which would be interacting with like with the global community, right? Different governments, different people in different countries, right? I would look for working for like military contractors or like government contractors, right? That would have to deal with international clients, right? So a lot of it does has to do with like interacting with different people, right? Of different backgrounds, and I would really look forward to doing that, and that kind of ties into what I'm doing right now as working like as a cashier and as a takeout manager. So as far as why I want to go to college, part of it's personal, part of it's like I guess career based is what you described. And so the personal part is that I personally enjoy learning. I love going to school every day and learning something new, right? And like higher academia, college, that's like where like, that's like the cream of the crop. That's like some of the best places. That's like one of the best places that you could learn new things, right? And like the new intellectual, I guess, pursuits, right? And as far as the career, right, a lot of it comes down to have an edge, to have like a to get accepted into jobs, right? You just need a college degree, right? And that's kind of a sad reality of today, but it's a reality that everyone has to come to terms with, right? That a college degree might be needed for a lot of careers today. And kind of tying into the next question, like, is going to college worth it? Is going to college important, right? Like, what are my personal thoughts? Um, I think it depends on what you'd like to do. Me personally, right? Like I want to work for the government or like a military contractor or like a big company, right? In that case, yes, like most likely I would need a college degree unless it's like an extraordinary circumstance. However, depending on the career that you'd like to follow, right? For instance, if you want to be an electrician, right? If you would like to be a plumber, right? Which are like fantastic things to look into, right? If that's what you're interested in, right? Like there might be some cases where you don't need a college degree, right? And you can get along just fine without going to college, right? So for me personally, yes, I think having a college degree for me is important, right? But for depending on what you want to do, right? I mean, it all depends on like what career you are going to pursue.